Namaste. It's truly an honor to be here with all of you, and I would also like to thank the Maharishi University for hosting this event, and also thank the WAVES organization for bringing together so many wonderful teachers and doing this event year after year to really promote Vedic sciences and Vedic knowledge, and we need that more and more today in the world. So thank you all very much. Thank you, Mahaji, for the beautiful introduction. It's truly an honor to be here with you all. You know, my talk today is about living Ayurveda, and Mahadevanji was talking about how we strive to do that every day at the California College of Ayurveda. You cannot really learn Ayurveda unless you live Ayurveda. You can't teach Ayurveda unless you live Ayurveda. You have to come from an authentic place in your heart. It has to become a part of who we are. I would like to begin my talk today with this blessing here to Lord Dhanvantari. Lord Dhanvantari, as you all know, I feel like I'm talking to family and that you all know almost everything that I'm going to say. But I do want to begin with honoring the divine healer, Lord Dhanvantari. We say that in Ayurveda, you cannot teach Ayurveda without the blessings of the divine healer. You can't learn Ayurveda without the blessings of the divine healer. And no healing takes place within us without the blessings of the divine healer. So I'm going to chant this short mantra, Om Shri Dhanvantara Murte Namaha, a few times. And I welcome you to join me. We'll chant it together 9 times. Om Shri Dhanvantara Murte Namaha. 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 Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace, Peace, Peace. It's so appropriate to begin our talk today acknowledging the divine healer, and with this beautiful picture and image that is on the screen that shows Lord Dhanvantari arising from the oceans of consciousness. You may all be familiar with the story of the Samudra Manthan. Many of you are, I'm sure. The Samudra Manthan, the great, beautiful story of the churning of the oceans that really is more than a story that is mythological and historical. It's more than that. It is personal. It's a personal story. It's your personal journey. And I'd like to talk to you a bit as we begin the story today about that personal journey. And first, I want to ask you a question. How are you? Yeah, you doing good? How's your body doing? Is there any suffering in your body? Are you having a little back pain maybe? A headache sometimes? Some wrists hurting? Joints? How you doing? Heartburn. Okay. Yeah. How's your mind? How's your mind doing? You doing all right? Or, you know, there's a lot of emotional and mental struggle in the world today. We hear about the mental diseases that are happening, the mental health crisis. We have it's a lot of suffering, anxiety, depression, anger, sadness, grief. There's a lot going on. How are you doing existentially? How are you doing feeling connected to everyone and to everything? You know, I travel around the world a lot. I speak to a lot of people, and one thing that I notice is that everybody is suffering. I actually haven't met anybody that's not suffering. I'm suffering too. I haven't met anybody that's not, and I've met great gurus. I've met wonderful teachers. I've met masters. I've met more swamis than I can count. Everybody is suffering. I haven't met anybody that's not. It's the human journey. It's the human condition. Sometimes it's our bodies. Sometimes it's our minds. Sometimes our bodies feel great. Our minds are calm. But existentially, we're not feeling, well, the bliss that we talked about before. We're not sustaining it. We're not living it in every moment because we feel separated from the whole. It's this cosmic primordial wound that we all experience. The Samudra Manthan is really a story about the journey to heal ourselves, to return to wholeness, to return to oneness. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with the story, there is this great sage who I'm not going to tell the whole story. I'm going to keep it short, but he's very devoted to Lord Indra. He's very devoted to Lord Indra, and he does his practices every morning. And one morning he's out in the field. He's out in the field and he's working, and he sees Lord Indra in the distance on a great horse, elephant, Airavata. And he's coming toward him. And this is a great moment in a sage's life because it's the culmination of spiritual practice when you have darshan with your guru, with your form of the divine that you worship. And so he sees Lord Indra coming toward him, and he quickly puts together a garland to make an offering to the divine. Airavata stops before him, and he prostrates, and he offers to Lord Indra this beautiful garland that he has put together. Lord Indra takes it. He's about to put it on his head, and he says, I want to show the sage just how selfless I am. I'm going to offer it to my elephant Airavata. So he puts it on the head of Airavata, who then drops it in the mud, takes a step forward and steps on the garland. You all know this story, and of course the sage gets very angry. He gets very, very angry, and he curses. He curses at Lord Indra, and his curse, because he's such a powerful, devoted sage, his curse is so strong, the Shakti of his curse is so strong that it reverberates through the three worlds, the heavens, the earth, and everything in between. And in that moment, the gods lose control of the three worlds, and the demons, they begin to take control of the three worlds. And then the rest of the story is about how the gods reclaim control of the three worlds. And Lord Vishnu teaches them that they have to work together. They have to work together, the gods and the demons, to churn the oceans. And that if they work together to churn the oceans, out of the oceans will come the Amritam held by Lord Dhanvantari in this picture here. And that Amritam, just one drop, will give the one who takes that drop the power to control the three worlds forever. So of course the gods and the demons, they both desire this because they both want control. So they agree to work together, and they churn the oceans. And out of the oceans, the first thing that arises is a terrible poison. The hala. Terrible poison comes out, and of course Lord Shiva swallows that poison to save the three worlds. And then they continue to churn. Many articles and gods and goddesses arise out of the oceans. And eventually the last thing to arise out of the ocean is Lord Dhanvantari, carrying the Amritam And of course, the Amritam then arises. But who takes the Amritam? Do the gods get it or do the demons get it? You all know. The demons dive on it. They dive on it. They take it because they're demons. You can imagine the gods are there and they go, oh, there's the Amritam. Maybe we should take that and divide it up. The demons have no patience. They dive on it immediately because they're demons. They take it and they run away with it. But of course, being demons, they fight over it because that's what demons do. Give it to me. No, give it to me. No, give it to me. And they start taking it from one another and they don't have any time to actually take a drop of it. Gods go back to Lord Vishnu, say, what should we do? Lord Vishnu takes incarnation as Mohini. Mohini appears before the demons and says, give it to me. Give it to me and I'll make sure you all get a drop. And all the gods and all the demons will get a drop. And they're mesmerized by her incredible beauty. They're just staring at her, their jaw. Oh my gosh. Yeah, here. And they give it to Mohini, who has them line up, and then Mohini gives a drop to all the gods. And at the end of the story, it varies depending upon the reading of the story and the source of the story. But in all the stories, the gods get the drops. And then Mohini disappears. There's more to that story. And of course, in one story, 2 drops fall to the ground, and the onions and garlic grow from that. And the story, Garuda comes and takes the pot and carries it over India and drops fall. You know all of these stories. And in Vedic astrology, Rahu and Ketu are connected to the story, right? One of the demons got a drop, and so the gods cut off the head. The head and the body fell to the floor. You know these stories. But I want to talk to you about this story for a moment because it's your healing journey. You are the sage who worships the divine. You're the sage who worships the divine in the story. And you do your practices, and we all do. We all have some connection to God, some connection to the divine. And sometimes the divine lets us down. Or we feel that the divine has let us down. And we're mad. We get upset. We get angry. We curse God. We say terrible things. The greatest curse you can do for God is just to not believe in God. There is no God. Oh, that's a curse to God, Or you can say curses at God because people get really mad. When you lose a loved one, you lose a child, you get really, really, really mad. Or just somebody hurts you, does you wrong. And you lose control of the 3 worlds. And the 3 worlds are your body, your mind, and your consciousness. And now there's a journey to regain control of the body, the mind, and consciousness that we go on. And that journey is going to involve a churning of the oceans, and the oceans symbolize our consciousness, our mind-consciousness connection. And it's churning all the time. And the gods and the demons are fighting within. And they have to churn that ocean. And the gods are always saying, act harmoniously. And the demons are always saying, do what's for you. The selfish actions that we take. And just like in Christianity, the devil and the angel on the shoulders telling us to do something good, do something bad. And we do that. So we struggle between the demons within ourselves and the gods within ourselves. But out of that churning in each one of us comes first the hala hala. All the poison arises from the ocean, from our journey, from our struggle. And it threatens to toxify the body, the mind, and consciousness until we eventually learn to turn it over to God, like Shiva. See? And then we continue the churning. Eventually within each of us, Lord Dhanvantari arises carrying the Amritam, thank goodness. The healer finally shows up, rises from all that hard work that we've done, all that struggle we've done, all that success and failure that we've experienced along the way. But the healer arrives within us, carrying the Amritam. And then the demons take it, the ego. The demons are all aspects of the ego, ahankara, all aspects of our individuality that are fighting with our sense of unity, atman. And they're struggling back and forth with each other. And so eventually, Mohini appears and says, give it to me. Mohini, the greatest of all desires that we have, which is the desire for inner peace, the desire for self-realization, the desire for bliss. It's there in each of us, and eventually Mohini promises it to us. And we'll do anything for Mohini. We'll do anything for that promise. And so we give the Amritam to Mohini, who promises even our ego will get some. So the ego goes, okay, I'll give it to you because I want bliss, the ego says. It's our ego that actually propels us along the way for a lot of this journey. The ego thinks, oh yeah, I can have bliss, I can have peace, I can have all these things. Maybe I'll live forever. Yeah, there's a lot of promises. Anyway, this is our journey. This is the journey that we are on to put ourselves back together to create wholeness. And the churning that we go through is very, very, very stressful. The battle between the demons within us and the gods within us is very, very, very stressful. And that stress brings us to the science of stress. And again, we don't have that much time really to go through all of this, but you're familiar with the HPA axis if you've studied the impact of stress on the body, on the mind. This is the hypothalamic, pituitary, adrenal axis, the hormones in the body that get triggered by the churning. And it's these hormones that get triggered by the churning that really are the deepest causes physiologically of the chronic illnesses that we have, whether it's high blood pressure, cardiac disease, inflammation, infections, cancer, and poor blood sugar control. This is ultimately the consequence of the churning that we see here. And of course, it is causing all kinds of physiological challenges in the body. We also see it in deeper levels of physiology, in the physiology of the protein messengers of the body, the interleukins, the cytokines of the proteins that your body is using to communicate all kinds of messages to your cells. And these cytokines can give messages to the cells that are sometimes confusing to the cells. And they can promote cancer, they can promote inflammation, they can promote heart disease, they can make it more difficult to heal from cancer. And these messengers, these cytokines, they respond to our emotions. That's the most amazing thing of all. Every thought that you have, every feeling that you have is determining the physiology of your body and of your mind. And this has been shown now and proven in Western science. You can see the cytokine 1B, which increases with anxiety. Cytokine 6 increases with depression, loneliness, and pessimism. 17 increases with stress. And it blocks the natural killer cells whose job is to defeat cancer. And what's really interesting, it's cut off a little on the page, so you can't see the most important message, but I'll tell it to you right now. That happiness, love, and joy, they reverse the process. Bliss reverses the process. And of course, we all know that who are involved in yoga and involved in Hindu studies and involved in transcendental or any other kind of meditation. My lineage comes from the Shivananda tradition that Kalyanji had mentioned the many, many teachers. I'm a disciple in the lineage of Swami Shivananda through the Shivananda Yoga Vedanta centers. I've been involved in their yoga community for now nearly 35 years, maybe 33 years, something like that. And all the yoga teachings, all the yoga lineages bring us back to that realization, and they all know that yoga creates healing. And many studies now are starting to show that. These are just a few very simple studies. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it for the purposes of keeping things short here. But you can see this study here, psychoneuroimmunology and cancer. They found that every cell, the cells have beta-adrenergic receptors on it, which means adrenaline, which is a stress hormone, binds to the cell and is going to influence cellular function, and that creates the growth of tumors. So tumors grow faster in stressful environments. Also, you can see this study from 2022 on stress and cancer. Available evidence has provided unprecedented knowledge about the mechanisms of chronic stress and carcinogenesis. The most well-known is the HPA axis that I just described and the disruption of the sympathetic nervous system. This is a study from back in 2002 that showed that stress actually inhibits DNA repair mechanisms. The DNA repair mechanisms are essential for healing from cancer. Your body actually can reverse cancer. It has the capability. We have immense potential within us if we know how to tap into that potential. We even have the potential to get into our genes and repair them. We actually have genes called repair genes. Their job is to fix cancer, but we get in the way of them with our thoughts. We get in the way of them with our feelings. We get in the way of them with our diet and with our lifestyle. So we have incredible potential within us. This study from 2009 also shows how we can correct blood sugar control. These studies are all just through relaxation. Now, on my focus of relaxation, my research, my teaching has focused on yoga nidra as a mechanism, as a tool for creating these results. But you get them from transcendental meditation, you get them from mantra meditation, you get them from vipassana meditation, whatever calms you down. Whatever calms you down. There was even a study, it's not in here, where they said, well, which meditation is best? There was a study that said which meditation was best. And it involved many, many, many people. And they did a study to figure it out. And they designed it. It's published. You can look up this study. Which one do you think was best? The one that was best was the one that was cool when you first heard about meditation. That was the conclusion of the researchers. The one that worked the best for you was the one you were first introduced to when you thought it was a cool thing to learn. And then you locked onto it. That's the best one. And it worked for you. That's a really, really brilliant. Really brilliant. All right. Another study that shows how relaxation, yoga nidra, meditation improves anxiety and depression and improves heart rate variability. Heart rate variability is the main tool we're using today to track parasympathetic function in the body. And when sympathetic function increases, which is stress, heart rate variability decreases, which means your heart becomes very rigid. And we need flexible hearts. Isn't that lovely? We need flexible hearts physically and emotionally and spiritually. And the more rigid we get, which we get under stress, the more our health is going to suffer. And they're even looking at this with children as well. Children who are meditating, doing yoga nidra, they are more alert in school, active, more clear, better control over their emotions and anger. This is all going to help their physical, emotional, and their spiritual health. And in a meta-study that was published in 2024, all of this also improves systolic and diastolic hypertension. Now, why am I just bringing up the relaxation, the meditation aspect of it? Well, these are tools that we use in Ayurveda. Of course they are, but they're just tools. See, Ayurveda is a compendium of tools. It is also a paradigm. As a paradigm, we understand that we have to live harmoniously in order to be healthy. And that paradigm comes from Sankhya philosophy. Sankhya is the root of Ayurveda and the root of yoga. Of course, Vedanta comes into play in it as well, and all the Shadarshana do, all 6 philosophical systems. But Sankhya philosophy is at its core, and if we see the world from a Sankhya perspective, the beautiful thing is we will not be caught up in the stress cycle. All right, so if we can realize Purusha and Prakriti are the only eternal realities and that all else is transient illusion, we won't get into the stress of transient illusion. Because what is stress? Stress is what happens when we're caught up in the drama. The drama, the samsara, this drama of the worldly challenges. And then we forget ourselves. We forget our true nature as spirit. and we start seeing ourselves as separate. And separate existence occurs from a Sankhya perspective. It's natural for you to be separate so that Purusha can have an experience of being in this world. But that experience in the world causes us to get caught up in the struggle. So we have to return to the awareness of Purusha and Prakriti and realize that who are we? We are divine. That we come from this eternal essence of Purusha and Prakriti. In Vedanta, we could say Brahman. Where are we going? Why are we here? We're here for Purusha to get to know itself. Where are we going? We're trying to find our way home. The soul to find its way back to Purusha, oneness with Brahman, to be absorbed in the unified field. That's the journey of awakening, the journey of healing. And how do we get there? That's the beautiful thing. The 4 paths of yoga are the pathway to get there. Now, they're the pathway to return home. But what do we do while we're here? Well, that's where Ayurveda comes in. Because Ayurveda exists to keep us healthy while we're on the journey. Because when we're healthy on the journey, we can do the spiritual work. And that's why we strive at the California College of Ayurveda to live Ayurveda. Our teachers, our students, they're not just studying, they're living the knowledge. Because the more harmonious we can become, the healthier we'll be. And that's really the big picture of Ayurveda. Where there's harmony, there is health. And where there's disharmony, there is disease. And we could just leave it right there. Think about it in your own life for a minute. Where there's harmony, there is health. But do you have harmony in every facet of your life, at every layer of your being? No. Yeah, it's there to be had, but you have to have it 24/7, 365. 24/7, 365. Unwavering. The potential is there, but I haven't met anyone yet 24/7, 365, because we also come to know in yoga that when we achieve that, we return home. There's no more dharma, there's no more karma. We're released and we're free. Moksha. These bodies are transient. This mind at the superficial level is transient as well. Where there's disharmony, there is disease. So the sooner we come to understand this, the sooner we come to realize how important Ayurveda is. Because Ayurveda parallels the path to self-realization. The path to perfect health parallels the path to self-realization. That's maybe the most important message you can take away. The path to perfect health parallels the path to self-realization. And only when we achieve complete and total self-realization, a sampragyata samadhi, the highest level of samadhi, and believe me, you're not working your day job in that state of awareness. In that state of awareness, asampragyata samadhi, you're just sitting and you're leaving. You're one with all of creation. The lower levels of samadhi, sure, we can be in the world. But to achieve perfect health, we must also grow to the outer limits of our spirituality. This is really the message of Ayurveda. How do we stay healthy while we travel our spiritual journey? Gain control of the 3 worlds, body, mind, and consciousness. Consciousness meaning awareness. And when we do that, we will love wholly, completely, divinely. We will be the manifestation and the essence and the expression of that love unconditionally. That's what it looks like in the world. Compassion, kindness, generosity. It's the way we express ourselves while we're here that matters. So my hope is that for all of us on our spiritual journey, that we deepen our love, deepen our kindness, deepen our generosity, deepen our well-being for the short amount of time that we are here in this body. Sure, we will continue our journey. We all know that. But even in this lifetime, let us reach our full potential. Many blessings on the spiritual journey and the health journey. Namaste.
Thank you, Dr. Marc. I think we still have some time. In fact, all of the speakers were so amazing. Please, Anilji, can you come forward? They all took exactly 30 minutes each, okay? We started 9:15 to 9:45, 9:45 to 10:15 to 10:15 to 10:45. I can't believe it, actually. I didn't tell them anything, by the way. So let's start with some questions.
No questions can be shouted, they have to be spoken in the mic.
Yeah. And also no comments, sir. I want only questions. If you have a comment, maybe you can have a discussion with the speaker later, but we want to take only questions right now for the speaker.
I just want to say the last talk was great. My question is regarding in a post-COVID environment, hyper-cleanliness has increased and so has disease prevalence. And I think maybe we are using too many detergents. Maybe we are getting residue of the detergent in our dishes. Also, a lot of alcoholic sprays, or we are inhaling, and that may be the cause of cell stress. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. There are many kinds of stress. There's emotional stress, there is physical stress, there's biochemical stress, there's microbial stress. All of those place stress upon our bodies and upon our minds and threaten us. In Ayurveda, the goal is to build what we call ojas. Ojas is what protects us from the stress and stabilizes our physiology, stabilizes our immune system, and stabilizes homeostasis. So our goal is through proper diet, proper lifestyle, to build this protection within us so it becomes like wearing a raincoat in a storm. Life is a storm. COVID was a big storm that rolled through for a few years. But if you have the raincoat on, the ojas, then that stress washes off of you. So the journey of healing is one of maximizing the amount of ojas in your body. That requires proper digestion, proper diet, and proper lifestyle. And then even if you're exposed to microbes, you'll have the best opportunity to fight off that disease. It doesn't mean that you will, by the way. It's always a matter of the virulence of the pathogen and host resistance. In medicine, host resistance is ojas. And then there is the virulence of the pathogen. So if I were to inject into your body a very, very virulent bacteria or virus, there may be nothing that you can do about it, even if you've been living harmoniously. However, if you have achieved that highest level of well-being, of harmony, you may die, but you will die well, because your mind and your awareness will still be complete and at peace. So these bodies are transient, and microbes exist, and we can just do our very best to protect ourselves. And that's what Ayurveda is designed to do, is to maximize the healing potential of every individual. Hope that answers your question.
Additional question is, because we have 3 pounds of gut bacteria. 3 pounds of gut bacteria. Are we doing hyper-cleanliness we are killing them, and that's causing more inflammatory disease, you know?
Yes, so you're talking about the microbiome. So we have 3 trillion microorganisms in our gut. And those 3 trillion microorganisms, they are affecting every physiological function in our body. They're actually another organ that we have, that we are more recently now thinking of as an organ. So I've got a liver, I've got a kidney, I've got a microbiome, and I got to take care of all of those organs in my body. Ayurveda so beautifully is designed to take care of the microbiome through proper diet and through proper lifestyle, and even through meditation and yoga. It's all reflected in the microbiome. So we're actually finding today that the microbiome responds not only to diet, but even to thoughts and to emotions and even to your environment. So how we take care of ourselves matters. And the disruption in our physiology can happen in many ways. And one of those organs, absolutely, is the microbiome. Thank you.
Dr. Sinclair at Harvard just got FDA approval for a trial on age reversal. He has demonstrated, and a friend of mine was in that, one of the people who benefited, that by genetic modification, he's able to reverse glaucoma. So when the nerve is dead and irreversible according to anybody, including Ayurveda, he's been able to restore full vision. What does Ayurveda think of the genetic engineering as a disease or a disease remedy, including their claim is that they should be able to reverse most causes of death and create lifestyle extension. Do you have a comment on that?
Yeah, Ayurveda certainly understands this concept, of course, through a different language, right? Ayurveda didn't have the language of the individual genes and the mechanism of those genes, but Ayurveda had the understanding of longevity. Ayurveda had the understanding of also seeking to reverse the aging process in the body through practices like panchakarma and kayakalpa. And so these practices are designed to keep us young and to slow down the aging process. We have the concept of parinama, which is the transformation that occurs that moves us from being young to being old, from being well to being sick. It's a transformative process. Can we reverse that process is really your question, and should we reverse that process? The answer to that question is, why not? It's all part of nature. So sure, there's no harm in reversing the aging process where we can. It's all part of nature. Human beings and our ingenuity is part of nature. So we don't need to reject that whatsoever, but we do need to learn how to properly use it.
So what if Ayurvedic methods of age reversal are having an effect on epigenetics, and people like Dr. Sinclair are doing this kind of research, measuring the effect, using AI and other things to measure the epigenetic effect of various modalities, including Ayurveda. Now, Ayurveda people in research are not part of that. So therefore, what Ayurveda could contribute and should contribute is the benefit is being received by other people who are then the champions of this, and they're going to get Nobel Prizes, and they're going to get patents, and they're going to help Google Health create all these treatments. And meanwhile, we at Ayurveda are struggling to even get recognized. So isn't that the failure of Ayurveda not to engage the cutting-edge science methodologies? And you know, I go and argue with those people, why aren't you crediting Ayurveda and bringing, he said, well, you're the guy who's here, or why aren't those guys here? So why aren't they here? So my question to you is, why aren't you guys, as Ayurvedic people, involved in the cutting-edge research which is going on? A lot of them, they are interviewing Ayurvedic people, getting their data, and then sidelining them when the publication comes out, because the Ayurvedic people are not assertive enough or active enough in the research as principal investigators.
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. It's a great lead-in, actually, to tomorrow we're having a post-conference meeting of a lot of the leaders in the Ayurvedic profession, addressing that question and many others. Why aren't we doing that? How can we do that? How can we organize our profession more effectively so that we can be more effective in the world? Look, it's on us. I'll be the first to tell you, it's on us. It's not Ayurveda, it's the people. It's the leaders. It's on us. We are failing the knowledge of Ayurveda. We are failing in our ability to be organized and to bring Ayurveda in the most respectful and powerful way to our community. And we're failing because of our egos. It's the churning. So the egos of the individuals who are involved all want to create Ayurveda in their own image rather than cooperate compromise, come up with a plan, a strategic plan that allows everybody to be in that same boat together and to move forward. And so I'll certainly be commenting on that more tomorrow. But yeah, it's sad. I agree with you. And the knowledge of Vedic knowledge in general has been assumed by Western scientists and rebranded in so many different ways. And Ayurveda really deserves that recognition, that credit, and the remarkable amount of beauty in this knowledge. It has to be recognized. Just a brief aside, I was just in Edinburgh, Scotland a couple of weeks ago for, we inaugurated a murti, but a monument to the sage Sushruta at the Royal College of Surgeons. So he's finally being recognized as the father of surgery, the oldest compendium of surgical knowledge. And so we inaugurated that. It's now at the hall entering the Royal College of Surgeons, which was built, the hall was built in 1505 and has been continually educating surgeons. But now all the surgeons will know that Ayurveda has its origins with Sushruta in the Sushruta Samhita. Yeah. All right, thank you.